So, oh, how do I say this? I've been creating videos now and the podcast for a little over a year, right? I started recording, I think, for the podcast in like June or something of last year, and we just got into August. And I started building my TikTok page probably shortly after that or around that time, right? And so I was like, on TikTok, they're like, just post. You just post, whatever. And so I started like creating videos to grow a little page there to have like a portfolio there of some sort. And then same thing with my Instagram. I had that one for a few years already for Let's Get Woo Woo. Anyways, it takes up a lot of time and energy. It's very time consuming. Not so much the recording of the videos, but the editing and the posting and the logo making and the everything that all of that takes. If you know, you know. It's just, it takes a while, you know. And it's really great. I really love it. It's been really fun to play with like the new technology, social media as it is right now, and like be able to share and stuff. And what I realized is that I do share my story, and even with the podcast, I've been sharing more in just random kind of online videos, like here in the van like this. And so I haven't been recording podcasts as much, which is also fine. You know what I mean? However, when I do share my story, and it's usually like in the raw emotion of it, I realize that I would prefer to use that energy and that emotion, like that raw emotion, to put it into something that I'm really passionate about, and that's music. And so while I love to talk and share my story and do it this way, I want to start writing more poetry and songs and things like that. And so what I realized that I need to do, I was listening to an interview right now with Anderson .Paak on And On That Note, I think it's what it's called. And he was just talking about like his creative process and just his journey through like instruments and as a musician and an artist and all these things, and it was so inspiring. And they were talking about like just the acoustic sound and versus like the box sound, like getting something just out of like a computer and plugins and all these things. And I've never worked with plugins. When I went to school for studio recording and music business, we used the analog console, which is pretty cool in the recording studio. This was in 04 and 05, no, 03 and 04. And Pro Tools existed, like I got trained in Pro Tools and electronic music and all that stuff. But also for studio recording, we got to use like all the analog stuff, which is pretty cool. But so when we recorded like live instruments most of the time. What I realized is that I need to learn music through instruments, because I want to be able to use my self-expression and put it to melodies and music and be able to create in that way. I went to Guitar Center the other night and I was looking at this synthesizer. It was pretty cool. Like somebody had created a beat on there and it was cool. I've never personally used like a beat machine or anything like that. But it was cool. I was thinking about getting one because I want to create my frequency music channel. And I get really confused with the plugins and how all that works. And I'm like, I got a limited amount of time. I'm like, I just need to get something to create something, you know. And I don't know. I was like listening to this interview, and I was like, or I could pick up my guitar and just start practicing that. And what I really love about the guitar is that it's so portable. Like you can literally take the guitar, just you and the guitar, and go sit under a tree or out on the beach in front of the ocean, and just your voice and your guitar, and there you go, you know, or some hole in the wall bar and a little performance, a little mic, there you are. And it's not that I don't want to keep recording videos and telling stories this way, it's that I want to be able to capture that raw energy in song form. Like was that the crab? And Moana's like, in song form. Because I think music is just so universal, like such a universal, not just language, but like transmission of energy. Like you can just feel it, even if it's not in a language that you understand necessarily, you know. And that's my first love. Music is my first love. Singing is my first love. Music in general, listening to music, the creative process of music. It's just like, when I talk about my heart coming alive, like that's where it's at, for sure. And so that I was like, I can continue to put, because it takes a lot of effort and time into recording videos and this, like, whatever this is. And, you know, I can continue that, and it's not like I won't, but I think going back to the drawing board and shifting my priorities as far as like the way that I want to express myself creatively would be really good to do at this time, and to really focus on learning and practicing more musicianship. Like I know how to I know music theory. I played saxophone, alto sax, for 5 years when I was in school. So like by no means an expert, but like I understand the concepts of it pretty well. Would need like a refresher, but it can easily like pick it up and go from there. So that, I don't know what that's going to look like as far as like a synthesizer. I'm not opposed to using it. I just really love like beautiful acoustic sounds, live performances, and instrumentation, especially on like studio records. Love that. Oh, love that. And it's like, why not learn a craft that I love so much and that I can use to express myself in a way that really like just lights me up and sets my heart on fire, you know, that.